Alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Let's bring in the audio audience. Welcome. This is the Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. Brothers and sisters, again, Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. I'm doing a special today. I was debating whether I should do this or not because I had a electric. What happened? Electric wisdom. Electric wisdom. Okay, I'm getting connection problems here. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Connect. Hold on. Disconnected. What's going on? Okay, we're having some Facebook issues. Anyway, I did 5 segments on the electric wisdom. I'm going to do a 6th one, but this goes a lot deeper. I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually do that or not, but I'm going to do it anyway, because some of you may understand it. It's going to be complicated. So I'm going to go briefly over what I've talked about already, and I'm going to go into some more complicated aspects of it, because you need to understand the wisdom that's being used against you. But first, the reminder. They're a constant reminder. The horror costs. Brothers and sisters, some of you are scared to death. You don't want to talk about it. You're still scared of Master. Your heart quivers every time Master comes around. I see it every day. You know I'm telling you the truth. You're still afraid of him. And so he minimized what he did to you in the manner in which he instilled that fear into you. He wants to call it slavery. He wants to call it slavery. Brothers and sisters, that was a small aspect of it. Slavery is an economic system. Minimum overhead, maximum profit. See? That's capitalism at its finest. They don't want you to see it that way. They want you to say, well, it's slavery. See, it's slavery. No, it was a Holocaust. And you maintain a Holocaust through terrorism. Maximum terrorism. Because the Holocaust they put us through, they had to apply maximum, total, 365, 24/7, 20 years of absolute terror. You saw how they reacted when you went to your so-called civil rights. Stick dogs and stuff on you. Absolute terror. Terror. America's a terrorist nation. They applied terror on us for 400-some years, and now they're hollering, terror, 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 terror. The chickens are coming home to roost. They're a terrorist nation. We are a nation, and I'm going to talk about that. We are a nation within a nation, as Elijah Muhammad told you. But you don't want to hear that. They terrorize our nation. Terrorize it. Do those pictures, I know the audio audience can't see this, right? But those pictures, do they look like slavery to you? Have you looked up the definition of slavery? It doesn't include those things. Terror. It doesn't include, well, there may be some level of terror in slavery, but it doesn't include murder, rape. I mean, we're supposed to be animals. They said it was beasts. So why was they raping beasts? That means they're guilty of bestiality. and they honor the people that did these things, like Jefferson and Washington. They were creeps. They were pedophiles. They were rapists. They were murderers. They were oppressors. They were terrorists. They didn't keep those people down there serving them by thank you, Valentine cards. They had to terrorize them. Washington Jefferson was the worst terrorist, worst kind of terrorist you can ever imagine. You talk about Bin Laden. They terrorized the whole people, women and children. So stop this slavery crap. Critical race theory. It wasn't a theory. Try calling the Holocaust a theory. They tell us we should forget about it. It's 400 years. No, it hasn't happened 400 years ago. It began 500, almost 500 years ago. They say, well, that's 400 years ago. You know, play on words. No, it wasn't 400 years ago. It's still going on now. Terror. They terrorized George Floyd to death. The man was scared. He was scared to save his own life. He see the man choking the life out of him, thumping the life out, and he would just lay there and let the man do it. Let the beast do it. Let the creep do it. Because he was terrorized. He was scared to death to save his own life. It's a Holocaust, brothers and sisters. And we're going to break that cycle. They turned you by Holocaust, by terrorism, into Negro butts. Took 64 years to do it with absolute terror. They separated you from your mother and father and from your country and your people, your language, your thought process, your culture, everything, and terrorized you for 64 years. Children! Until they had successfully put so much fear in you that you was transformed into a Negro butt, transformed to self-destruct. You would self-destruct if the master says so, because you're so afraid of him. Terrorized not to think. You knew better to think. You was too afraid to think. Terrorized not to ask any questions, not to do anything but what master tells you, to obey master no matter what. That took terror to do that. So it was Holocaust, a terrorist nation. So we're not going to forget, and we should not let you forget. Slavery, critical race theory. What was the theory? Tell me, show me the theory. Or it may have happened, may not happen. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. These people are sick. Totally sick. That's why I call them beasts. Beasts produce beasts. What was that? Okay, I'm getting connection problems here. Maybe it's time of day. Same thing over there too. Okay. We see how it works out, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to move on, and we're speaking. See, we're speaking futuristically too, brothers and sisters, because in a few more days, I'm going to clean up that mess over there on Stony Island in Chicago. Clean up that temple, mess with the covet. He comes with full of soap. They clean up that mess that Lion Farrakhan, the lion stinking dog, created. Son of perdition. You're going to find out, and when you realize who he really is, you're going to be sick to your stomach, those you that was deceived by him. And now, and what's going to cause you to have to go through more suffering that you would have avoided if you had not been deceived by him. It. So let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, let's move on here and see. Bear with me, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to get the hang of this. Okay, not that. Okay, let's start this here. Nope. doing live casts on 3 platforms. It's just me. Bear with me. Announce about a few seconds. Been working with you for over 30 years, brothers and sisters. For this day, preparing for this day. Preparing for this day. Where did that come from? Got an error here. Okay, brothers and sisters, I got a little slight error here. Change here. Okay. There you go. Okay. I'll get there in a minute, brothers and sisters. Be patient, because believe me, this much there is worth waiting for. Okay. Take that one down. Okay. I think we can go with that. Okay, welcome. Again, this is Suleiman Rahim, Messenger of Covenant, Breaker of 7 Seals. Excuse me. And we're going to talk about electric wisdom. Now, when Europeans came out of the Dark Ages, that's chapter 20 of the Injil or Revelation or Apocalypse, they rose, they separated themselves from that religion stuff. See, because the religion took them out of reality. They was given guidance, but they forsaked it because the Roman Empire fell as a result of Christianity that the prophet Jesus 2,000 years ago set up. But quickly, they succumbed. The Christians, who call themselves Christians, they didn't call themselves Christians at the time, but they was followers of Jesus. That's what they said, and they succumbed to the Roman Empire. So what came out of that was a compromise, which was the Roman, that's what I call it, Roman Catholic Church, because it was a compromise between the two. So in other words, if you compromise truth, it's not truth anymore. See, you can't put a little shit on steak and says compromise and say you're going to eat the steak, you ain't going to do it. So they compromised the truth by taking and absorbing the culture of the Roman Empire, the religions and everything. That's why you had the idols and stuff there. And the Pope, the Caesar became the Pope and so forth, so on. So as a result, they collapsed because their power came from them obeying the law that was given to them in the scripture. So they collapsed. After 5 years, they collapsed, right? They went to the Dark Ages, the bottomless pit, right? As a result of the rise of the resurrected Abrahamic Islamic Empire, right? What you call Islam. Both things happened simultaneously, and that kept them locked up in the pit for 1,000 years. So after 1,000 years, they forsake the Roman Catholic Church and tried to go back to the principles that they thought that Jesus had laid out for them, Jesus of 2,000 years ago, Isa ibn Miriam. As a result, they started gaining their power back because their power is energy disciplined. And that's what, when they say righteousness in the Bible, they're talking about discipline. That's the biblical term for discipline, righteousness. A very living type of righteousness, well, I mean, it's comprehensive. I put it that way. Okay. So, and then, because I keep trying to explain to you, the scriptures are mathematical books. The Bible, Quran, all mathematical books. And one of their premier scientists, right? He was a very, very strong student of the Bible, right? And so-called Sir Isaac Newton, and a lot of principles that he came with was based biblically. Because when he said his most fundamental principle that he realized, I mean, he didn't come with this stuff, he realized it, was every action has an opposite equal reaction, which is consequence, was the most fundamental principle of the universe, which he called, right, which the Bible calls, you reap what you sow. Same concept, consequence. So when they start adopting mathematics, they touch God, because that's what God is. Like Elijah Muhammad said, power and force, which is mathematics. That's what Elijah Muhammad told you, God is power and force. Islam is mathematics, mathematics is Islam. Power and force is mathematics. So they touch God. Just a little bit. They got to peep. See? They got to peep on God. Just peep. See? Because we see God in his full grandeur. You will in a few days. You see God in his full grandeur. See? You see him totally. But he says, no man can see God and live. They can't get it. They got a glimpse. And that almost killed them. They got a glimpse. They said, no man, talking about them, can see God and live. It's too much for them. But anyway, and by mathematics, they subdue every place, every so-called religion on the planet, because all these religions are not real. They're not real. They're fantasies. They're philosophies. They're out of touch with reality. So therefore, they can't control reality with mysticism. And so, how you control reality? How they control reality? With mathematics. You can't control reality with Christianity, Buddhism. Well, I pray and I get things. Really? I pray for a car. And did it pop up in your garage? Does it work on Christian principles? No. Why you got to put gas in? Why it got to work like the mathematical cars? Why you got to go to the dealer? Why you got to get a credit check? Why if God bless you with that from your prayers? It's all bullshit. See? I mean, if that's the case, why don't you pray for a car? Why not pray for $1 billion? Get over with it. You won't do it because you know it will never happen. Okay, brothers and sisters. Yeah, they don't like me on Facebook too much. They really got my friends all frozen and everything. Anyway, we're not going to worry about that. Anyway, brothers and sisters. So I always back up recording. So with mathematics, they subdue every religion, every philosophy out there. And every religion is subjection to them. And everybody that believes in religion is subject to them. So and as a result, they captured us. We're going to talk about that. They took us totally out of reality. And that's how they've been ruling us. But see, these principles are mathematical principles, but they're based on their study and research and use certain mathematical, like electricity is one of fundamental. And they use the knowledge of electricity to rule us. That's one of the other things too, but that's one of the most fundamental. When you understand that, see, when you understand that, then you start breaking free from your programming, because they program you, took 64 years, program you from Kuta Kinte to Toby, a Negro butt. So we're going to move on, brothers and sisters. I'm having very serious problems with my connections here, but we'll see. Okay, let's move on. Again, bear with me, brothers and sisters, because I'm working on several platforms, and looks like one of them not responding very well. That's okay. They can't stop this. They think they can, but they can't. Think they can, but they can't. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, ooh. Now more. Come on, second, brothers and sisters. Okay. Here we go. That's it, brothers and sisters. This somewhat futuristic also, because in a few more days, the demons from the Nation of Islam are going to be dispatched. The chief demon, Farrakhan, is going to be cast down. It says the accuser of our brethren be cast down. Who's the accuser? Him. We're wicked, we're sinful, and all this. We've been punished. The devils, all they did, we didn't say the devils. See, they're good people, but we're evil. See, the devils, right? Let me check one thing here. Since I think this little. The devil, see, his brethren, which are, because he's a demon. I mean, his father's the devil. You have to take my word for it. Just go and Google it. Google Farrakhan. His father's name is Percival Clark. They show a picture of him. So how in the hell can a devil be your savior? So you proven that you are a liar, a demon, a viper, or worse, by you hanging with him when the truth is so obvious. And you're going to pay the price. And there will be no forgiveness for you. Forget it. It won't be. If you think so, you're sadly mistaken. Anyway, so I'm speaking to you from the future, a couple of months from now. See, when the demons, the liars, Farrakhan, all his boys are cast down, when the Ancient of Days did set, right? It's hairs like lamb's wool. That's not Farrakhan. That's not Fasra Muhammad, is it? I have lamb wool's hair, at least not that I know about. 1 second, brothers and sisters. Okay, so I'm speaking to you from the future, about September. They'll be gone. They'll be gone by then. And this war breaks out. But we're not going to talk too much about that today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a presentation prepared. And I'm going to try something here. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see something. This work out. Hmm. 1 second. What's this? 1 second here. Mix it up here a little bit. Should I test it out first? Well, I'm gonna do this all the time. I do this all the time. Let's see. Okay, bring this up here. And no, okay. Okay, what we're going to do here is I'm going to take you over to the presentation. Trying to work with several things at the same time. And there it is. Oh. Hmm. There you go. Civil technologies. One works one way and one works another way. One this way. Okay. Yes, okay. That'll work. I have a backup because I'm not sure what Facebook is doing. It keeps fading in and fading out. Okay, here we go. Okay. Vector Wisdom 6. Now I'm going to go through briefly the things I've covered in the past. But again, I'm trying to show you how the mathematics they're using to control you. Because they're not using Christianity to control you, brothers and sisters. They use Christianity to remove your power from you, to take you out of reality, because there's nothing realistic about Christianity. It's a belief system where nothing is visible, nothing's tangible, everything happens after you die, God is invisible, right? The angels are invisible. You can't do anything with it. You can't bring anything into resistance from it, right? Only access you have is doing prayer, and you know it doesn't work, right? Well, it works sometime. Well, would you buy a car that works sometime? How do you know it's working? How do you know it just didn't happen? See, but they're not using Christianity. They're using mathematics, because everything that's around you, that you see, that you can feel, that you can touch, that affects you, is based on mathematics. Don't you understand? It took you out of reality. And by you, because you never get control of them with your belief system. You never, I want 6 states, I want reparation. You're never going to control anything with that reality, that Christian reality, that belief system religion. You're only going to do it with mathematics. And if you come home to mathematics, brothers and sisters, they're through. They're done. But they knew that they had to take you out of reality. And they did it with religion. Been going on for 35,000 years. And now, because if you listen, the message of the covenant, there's nothing spiritual spooky here. That's what book of Revelations, Angel, Apocalypse that you call it, right? That's why it calls Revelations, because it brings everything into reality. It reveals everything. All things were hidden, because they had reality hidden from you. So now Revelations reveals it all. When you come here, you know who the devils are, who the dragon is, who the jinn are, who Satan is, who God is. You know who everything and everyone is. You know what heaven is, what hell is. You know it all. But with Christianity, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. All you know is what you think you believe. That you can't touch, feel, but every day, your reaction is mathematical. Your budget, going to work, driving, eating, cooking, everything else. But your mind is out of touch with reality. But your body is totally in tune with reality. Because your mind is your software. And they put a faulty software on your what you call Christianity. Religions are software. Religions are software. They got installed that false software on your brain, and so now you walking around totally neutered, have no idea what's going on about anything, afraid of everything, because they put fear in you, which still lingers. Well, some it's not lingers, strong as it ever was. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, like I said, we're going to take in okay, electricity. Right. Let me move myself a little out of the picture here. Oops. No, it's not working here. Oh, that's why. Oops. Back up here. This is ahead of myself. Okay. Myself out here. Again, bear with me, brothers and sisters. I'm getting used to this. Okay. Now, electricity. Electricity is a relationship between electrons and protons. That's why I call it electricity, because electrons, electricity, you understand it? And it's the flow of electrons that's controlled by protons. So I'm going to give you an example here. When you see those red dots there, they're protons. The green, the red, black ones, they represent electrons. Now, they only represent that. That's not how they look. In fact, David doesn't know how they look because he's never seen one. You can't see them. Because the only thing you can see is protons, and protons do not emit photons, and electrons do not emit photons. See? So you cannot see protons and you cannot see electrons. It's impossible. Because everything you see is because of photons, and they do not emit those. Anyway, so they're guessing what they look like. But we can tell you exactly what they look like. But that's not the purpose here. So we're going to say that the protons are us. And we're going to say electrons is our reality. Right? We're going to put in those terms. Right? So your reality is, right, your civilization, right? Your food, your clothing, your atmosphere, everything. Right? So we're going to say electrons represent that. Right? So here, each proton, a basic principle you have to understand that we all get the same amount of energy. I know that's hard for you to understand, but we live in a pressure system. That's what you've never been told that before either. And you don't understand how pressure works. That's why you don't understand your reality. See? So you have to understand how pressure works. Because our reality is, the whole universe is based on pressure. Right? Look at yourself. Your lungs, pressure, heart pressure, right? Your reproductive organs, pressure, right? How do you move? You move by thought. Thought has to be force. Nothing moves out force, and force is pressure. So anyway, I'm not going to go into detail. Like I said, I'm going to keep this short because I want to move into the main topics. Main topic here, right? So, like I said, I'm going to move this rather quickly because you have electric wisdom 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is 6. Go back and look at the other ones. I'm going to go this fairly quickly. So in this case here, each proton, each one of us have everything we need. See? So, but if you take, imagine a people like a string of pearls, Each one is a person. Each person has an apple. Each person has an apple. And they're hungry. And they told you can't eat until they told eat. And they're hungry. And each one has an apple. And then what happens? Somebody snatches the apple from one of them. So now you got 10 people, you got 12 people, and only have 11 apples. They're all hungry. So what happens is that one, he snatched the apple from the person next to him. They weren't told they couldn't do that. And he don't have one. He snatched one from the next person to him. So he don't have one. So it keeps on going, right? Because they wait and eat. Whoever had the apple like musical chairs, whoever had the apple when the music stopped playing, they eat. The one that don't have it, you don't eat. See, so everybody's snatching. But if you take 2 apples away, they snatch faster. Take 3 apples, it's moving faster. Because you got 3 people who's not going to eat. So they're snatching fast. Because they don't want to be the one that have, that's electricity. Let me show you. See, we took 1 electron away. So now there's not enough for everybody, right? What happens? That happens. You get a current, electrical current. That's what we call it, current. See? Electron. There's an attraction force between a proton and electron called charge. It's not magnetism. Magnetism is something else. It's a charge called charge. That's the attraction force between it. And that's what holds that proton, holds that electron, captures and holds it. But if there's a proton that's missing one, he's got enough attraction force to pull it away from that one. And then he doesn't have one. So he pulls from the one next to him, then you got a current. I think no matter what I do, this thing I'm going about 2 hours. I don't want to do that. Okay. And see, here I took 2 electrons away. 2 electrons away. So what happens? Well, I increased that current dramatically. Now, how does it apply to us? Walk through this as we go along. How does this apply to us? We each need a certain amount of energy every day, a certain amount of calories, a certain amount of food, whatever. They have us all bottled up in ghettos, right? Away from massa, because all the demons out with massa. They're the ones that look like you, talk like you, walk like you, but they ain't you. They're massa seed. And the Revelation tells us that half the blacks in America are demons. Half devil, half man. That means they're massa seed through rape, relentless, unrelenting, right? Continuous rape for 100 years. They produce about 17 million demons who love them, whose heart towards them, they hate you because they think the same way massa thinks. So they're out there with them, right? So you here in the inner city, this is all planned, brothers and sisters. And they make sure you never have enough energy in there to be satisfied. So you have currents. And when you have currents, that means you got to do something, take something for someone else to satisfy your needs. That's criminality. So they criminalize you. That's how they do it. See? You remember, 50 years ago, Detroit was like a mecca for black industry, right? Economics. And they took all the jobs, sent them to China. See? Now Mecca's a basket case. It's a basket case. You understand, brothers and sisters? They make sure you never have enough. They send all your jobs overseas, right? To China. They send all intellectual jobs over to India, the ones that can't. You ever talk on the phone lately to somebody that can't hardly speak English? And then your agricultural jobs, they bring people across the border to take them. And what are they building for you? Prisons. It's more of you in prison than anyone else. And America's a great free place, but they got more people in prison in America than any place, than all the places in the world combined. They got more prisoners in the prisons of the United States, they're all the world combined in their prisons. And you're the primary prison population. And they guarantee they're going to have prisons because they make private prisons. So, and the persons to buy those prisons, they have to guarantee that they're going to have inmates. How are they going to do that? How are they going to guarantee? That means they have to guarantee crime. That means they have to be able to guarantee criminalization. And they can by this process right here. That's just one of it. We're going to talk about some more, brothers and sisters. Let me make a change here. This okay, this. Oops. Why did they do that? Oh, I can't. Okay, I know why. Don't get used to this, brothers and sisters. There you go. Criminalization. How they guarantee to have enough inmates? That's the look it up. Don't take my word for it. When they buy those private prisons, they have to have the government guarantee they're gonna have a full house of inmates. How are they gonna do that? You're just looking at it. Make sure you never have enough. They give you these jobs, Burger King, Walmart, and all that kind of stuff, and you're never gonna make enough money to maintain yourself. And then they tell you, oh man, you can't afford to have no baby, abort them. You see? You don't see this going on, brothers and sisters? Some of you just too afraid to see it. They're using this on you. Move on to the next one. Okay, there's a little segue here, brothers and sisters. I just want to show gender opposites. See, but this is part of electricity. See, this is like a magnetic aspect. Magnetism, I'm going to show you in a minute, is just another form of electricity. So when you have genders, one on the right, one on the left, the electrons are moving in opposite directions. One's clockwise, one counterclockwise. When that happens, this happens. Because they attract. See? Because they're going in opposite directions. Right? So they attract. See? There's a little more going involved now, but that's the simplest way to explain this. In other words, it's a simple way to explain it. I'm trying to keep this simple, but you get the idea, hopefully. Okay. Now I'm going to try to show you how magnet works. Well, I don't think you see it anyway. Let me move it. I'm trying to go with this. Okay. Now, magnet, what you see from two standpoints there. Both, it's not two magnets. The magnet on the right is a magnet, and the magnet on the right is a magnet, right? But it has like two sides of the magnet. That's not positive, negative. In other words, it's the way it flows. And you see that the one on the right, right? Because the electrons are moving through. That's the way it moves through it, right? One side is moving, like you see, the red arrow is moving that direction, and the other side, the black arrow, is moving in that direction. But it's just one magnet, right? That's why you had the poles, because one side is going in, right? You see the arrows on the right point towards each other. On the other side, they're going out. So it's going out like a circle, like an 8, right? Going out. That's how you have that current. So there's two poles. One, on the right side. I'm talking about one on the right. There's two sides, the right and the left side. One side is the positive, one side is negative. The same thing in the one in the middle. Same thing. I'm just showing the arrows, showing how they go in opposite directions, right? But they're in sync. So there's no collisions there, right? Okay. Hope you understand that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I want to move on. Yeah, shows that. Okay, and I want to show again. See, now you have, when I show the gender, in this case, you got two males or two females. See, they're going to oppose each other. No, excuse me. This is opposites. This male and female again. They're going to attract. Opposites attract. But similar, right, had opposite effect. That means two males or two females, they should repel each other. If they don't, there's an error. See, problem going on. That gets into this. I'm going to take a couple of seconds to talk about this, brothers and sisters. You know, at one time, as the Quran tells you, even the Bible tells you that there was one being, there wasn't a male and female. So, well, there was Adam, but how did they get Eve? It took them out of Adam. And think about it. If God made Adam, and he had to think about making Eve later, did Adam have all the equipment that he has now? That he wouldn't need it if there wasn't a woman around? How was it going to reproduce itself? Anyway, the wisdom is in there, and you have to think about it. So it's one being, because you have breasts and you don't need them. You have breasts, you don't need them. See? So it was one being. So he's separated. Some people would refer to that as hermaphrodite. Okay. So he's separated. Right. Okay. So in general, the woman took the beauty, the man took the strength. That's so you have to understand the process of making that happen. But the only law we ever had, see, the Europeans, they're under law because they're not in sync with the universe. They was made a special people for a special purpose. That's why they at war with the climate and war with economics, everything, because they're out of tune with the universe. They're out of tune with it. And so now they're at war with the climate, this biological system and everything else because they're out of tune with it. See? So they only had a 6,000 year period to rule. We'll talk about that in a minute. Well, and they only could rule if they obeyed the law that was given, as it tells you in the Quran. They had to follow the guidance. They were under the law. As the Bible tells you, they were under the law. We were never under the law. Of course, like cows are under the law, eagles are under the law, porpoises are under the law, whales are under the law, lions, because they're in sync with the universe. They don't need any law. They know what to do, and we know what to do. So we never had a religion. We have reality, mathematics. Okay. But to maintain the integrity of that separation between the male and the female, the law was, the only law we had, you could not have reproduction activity between close relatives. Otherwise, the genes has to be distinct enough so they can figure out one orientation or the other. But if you got a mother and son or sister and brother, it's so close that it gets confused. So therefore, the result, right? Yes, it just ended my video on Facebook. Yeah, they're doing that on purpose anyway. I got a recording. So the result is you got a confused situation. So you don't know you're male or female. So when they say they're born that way, they are. Because Europeans violated that principle. As the Quran tells you, no one did this stuff before you. It tells you in the Quran, no one did this homosexuality stuff before you. Because they disobeyed that law, like they disobeyed all laws, and so now you got the result. And they infected us because during the Holocaust, they didn't care if they wanted a cheap slave, they didn't want to buy one. They put a mother and daughter, mother and come together, sister, brother, they don't care, just give me a slave. They don't care what you care what, just as long as you worked. Okay. What they did here. I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave this like this. It's incredible. Anyway, so I'm pretty much toast on Facebook. So that's why you have that. So they're born that way. It's not a lie, but it's a problem. See, and like I said, that kind of situation would not be allowed. Not allowed in the new reality. So I just want to point that out. See, the angel reveals everything. Okay. Now we're talking energy deprivation. Now, again, I didn't show this before, but power comes from controlled energy, disciplined energy. The energy is, but you have to control it, discipline it to turn it into power. See, if everybody's got the same amount of money, I got $1 million, but if you splurge it, you're blowing it away. If you invest it, you turn it into power. So by spinning, because when protons spin, they produce a torque, like a gyroscope. When it spins, it stands upright. See, and so when it spins, it has power. Power to control is. Remember I said electrons represents your reality. Everything around you, externals. So they control it. You control your reality. See, because they're spinning. They have power. See. So that's where we were 50,000 years ago, before we start suffering energy deprivation, because all the energy that used to be here was going out there, and so it got to the point where the energy level was so low, we start suffering energy deprivation. I mean, we did not have enough power to control our environment anymore. Hope you understand that. But the universe is contracting now, so that power is returning to us. This is where we were 50,000 years ago. Okay. See there? Sure. See, we start slowing down. So we start losing control, diminishing power. Our powers begin to diminish, right? We start losing control of our environment. 3,000 years ago, control our minds. That's how we end up getting fooled by religion and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Let's go on. And so 6,000 years ago, Adam comes on the scene. See, the Bible, both Quran and the Bible both calls him Adam. But see, you think Adam was the first being that came alive, and the Quran, you think that's also. No. What Dr. Yaqub did says, rather than lose control of our civilization, our environment, we'll make a stripped down version of ourselves, right? Called Adam. Basically, we are a Lamborghini. He's a Volkswagen Beetle. Doesn't require much maintenance. Doesn't require much internal energy. So you have so-called disposable income, external energy, where we was losing our external energy. See, we're getting to the point where we didn't have any external energy at all. But they did. They had a lot of it. See, but they were weak, because in order to do that, you had to make a weak, a Volkswagen Beetle was doesn't have the structure of Lamborghini, right? So they was weak, but they had a lot of energy. So you see them spinning very fast, and they got control of the environment that we got lost control of, was losing control of, and in control of us in the process. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I talk more in detail in the other presentation. I'm really taking more time than I expect to here, but I'll I want to really bring this home. If I can wind this up today. Then the hard cost. See, we're not spending it all. We have no external energy. No external energy at all. We're not spending it all. We have no power. We're powerless. But they have power. And we had no, see, when we spinning slow. We had enough power to resist them. Even though we was weakened, but we still had enough power to resist. But now we're dead. That's why I call us a dead nation. We have no power to resist. They took total control of us. Was over here. We had no power to resist. No power at all. And they have control. That's it. They was given rule. They would make mischief, shed blood. They was told not to touch that tree, not to harm us. He said, don't go near that tree, or you be unjust. We're the tree of life. He said, don't mess with it. No, you can slave them, but don't harm them. That's what we're talking about. And they did anyway, because it says, the Abrahamic covenant, they not only enslaved us, but they afflicted us, and they are being punished right now because of the affliction. Because 1619 to 2019, it's the 400 years, read the Abrahamic covenant, and that will be a plague, first of 10 plagues, that will kill the firstborn, that's the elderly, and pass over us. And that's a fact. They was lying to you, telling you that you was dropping like flies, because the World Health Organization, Google it, they put out a paper a couple of months ago saying that they couldn't understand why this plague was not affecting Black Africa, Haiti, and all the black folks, real black folks around the world. See? So the truth came out. So that's the first. They got 9 more plagues, and those plagues will take effect when the war breaks out in Europe, not this Ukraine stuff. That falls in the category of wars and rumors of wars. The war is going to break out, Armageddon, so-called Third World War, will be sparked by the war that's about to break out in a few more days in the Middle East. Michael and his angels, chapter 12, and dragons, angels going to war. And dragons, angels, that's Gog and Magog, America, Britain, and false Israel, the Antichrist, right? Gog and Magog be kicked out. The Antichrist is going to be captured, under siege. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, its destruction is near. That should have woke you up right there, because who controls Jerusalem? Jerusalem is capital what? They tell you that there's seed of Abraham, and the seed of Abraham, when they return, they will never be destroyed. But it's telling you they ain't saying they're about to be disarmed, right? Or redeemed. So they're gonna be destroyed. And first, second of all, when they return, they wouldn't be returned to little Palestine. They were returning to whole Arabia. It's all a lie. They have you believe, but it's about to be come down, tumbling down. And what it does, it's going to shock waves through the world, and it's going to wake you up. No, it's going to wake you up. It's going to deprogram you. It's going to short circuit your Negro butt programming. And once that happens, right, then I can wake you up. Okay, here we go. And then comes Elijah. That caused the power for them. Because we have 2 resurrections here. We have Elijah, he would resurrect the Levites, the widow's son, that priest tribe that's grafted into our tribe, because they went through the same experience we did here. They're called the silver, and we're called the gold. Now I'm talking about metals. There's the silver and we're the gold. Right? So he was able to raise them up. Because Elijah would come first, he raised up, remember John, he raised up his people, the Levites. And they started spinning. See? They started spinning. They started to get control of themselves, their environment. That's what Elijah Muhammad did with his Nation of Islam. They started taking care of business, right? Self-help. They started taking care of themselves. They started building. But remember, right now, the Europeans control the quality of our energy. I talk about that. I'm not going to get into here, from the quality of our energy, see, and the level of our power. Because power, right, is determined, is based on the quality of your energy. In other words, if you discipline your energy, you turn into power. So they can stop you from disciplining it by having you smoke, drink, eat pork, fornicate, and everything else. Then they keep you from obtaining power. Because you're not converting it. Oh man, don't invest your money. Party. They stop you. That's what we're going through now. That's deception. And Farrakhan, the chief demon, he's part of that process. Right? So they start getting control, start building a nation. And the FBI and all of them said, we can have that. We can have the building a nation. See? So they start spinning. We still dead. Lazarus is still dead. See? But the Levites, they're alive. They're growing. They're building a nation, everything else. See? Age of Elijah. So what was the result of that? So they had two choices. They either deactivate Elijah's people or insulate them. Now what do I mean by insulation, isolation? You only have wires. Let me talk about wires is basically protons, and the current goes through the electrons trying to satisfy. See what happens? They have proton this side, electron this side. And so these protons don't have an electron. So they pull electrons towards them. That's the electric current. See? They pull them through the wires. And so they want to keep those wires active. And the way to do that is by insulation. That's why I put that little plastic stuff around it, because that is resistant to electricity. I'm not going to explanation that, but it's resistant to electricity. And so it won't allow electrons to come from the air to get to the wire. Because if it did, it would stop the flow, because instead of the protons pulling electrons from one to the other end of the wire, it just pulled out of the atmosphere, so therefore it will be no current. That's why I have insulation. It's also isolation. Because that's what it did. It took, can you see, I'm kind of covering this up here. Let me see, move myself out the way a little bit here. Yeah, move myself out a little bit. I really want you to understand this process. Oh. Again. Okay, I guess I can make that work. So see here? Oh. Technology. It's really how technology builds systems, but you don't understand either. Wait a minute. What did I do here? Okay. So what they do is that they couldn't deactivate Elijah Muhammad's followers on his departure. Couldn't deactivate them, reprogram them, right? To stop spinning. See, converting, because Elijah Muhammad taught them how to convert the energy into power. So they isolate them in prisons. See, so in other words, they have access to anything, to reality, anything, to civilization, anything, to isolate them. So they spinning, but they're isolated, so they have no control. So Master could keep controlling his environment. You don't have anybody building nation, building stores, building an economic system, because that opposes what they're doing. See? That means they lose control of American economic system if we're controlling it, so they isolate them. Hope you understand this, brothers and sisters. See? But see, Elijah Muhammad, that's what I'm saying. You didn't understand Elijah Muhammad, and you didn't study those lessons, because if you did, you understand some of this, right? Because Master Muhammad said you would not be successful unless you learn mathematical language. They're using mathematics to control you. Elijah Muhammad, by telling you, eat 1 meal a day, right? To stop fornicating, stop smoking, drinking and stuff. He was breaking this cycle. He was breaking that cycle I told you about in the beginning, right? Where criminalization, he broke that cycle. You didn't have all this criminality and stuff when Elijah Muhammad's around. I lived in Chicago with Elijah Muhammad for, not in his house, right? But I was with him for 70 to 75. You wouldn't have this criminality and stuff in Chicago that you have right now. Because even if you wasn't working with Elijah Muhammad, you still sympathized and you was applying some of his principles. See? But now the people, they ain't follow any of his principles. They're out there doing their thing, and so now you got all this criminality, and then you got the demons. Now, I'm not talking to demons here, bro and sisters. I'll talk about them in a few minutes. I'm not referring to demons, because we definitely have serious problems because they're part of this process. They're the ones that keep it going by keeping deceiving you, keep on doing these things that you ain't got nothing to do, because they're your role models. Oh, man. Right? If you know, it's like you got a Volkswagen Beetle. Man, you can use regular gas. Look at me, man. I'm good. And then you a Lamborghini, and you put regular gas in and you destroy your engine because you can't do it. So you got these role models. Oh, man, you could be like King James, man. You can be like Magic. You can be like Denzel. You can be like Beyonce and Jay-Z. They're all demons, and you can't be like them. Because when you try to be like them, you're going to suffer. And you're going to suffer self-imposed energy deprivation. One, you're going to suffer diabetes, hypertension, everything. Because you can't be like them because they're demons. They're the same as their daddies. They're Volkswagen Beetles. They just happen to look like you. They put a covering on, make it look like they Lamborghinis, but they're nothing but Volkswagen Beetles. That's how they get you. It says half the blacks in America are demons. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. And then after Elijah Muhammad departs, see there? Those are demons. They got the same outer covering as us, but inside, they're just like their daddies. They look like us, walk like, they're deceiving us. You try to be like them because all you see is the outer covering. You don't see the inside. Oh, man, it's like us. You don't see the inside. And they're spinning. We're still dead. See? And the ones that are spinning, they're isolated, insulated in prisons. There's millions of black folks in prison. See? You understand what's going on? And that means the devil's master can still keep on rolling. He still keep on rolling. Still keep maintaining power. You don't have any resistance because you keep you locked up in prisons. And the chief demon, Farrakhan, right? He's trying to tell you, stay here, be like daddy. Be like master. Devils ain't devils anymore. We should think like them. Be analytical. Is that what he tell you? Scientology and everything. I'm just trying to break it down for you, brothers and sisters. Demons. Now I'm talking about demons. As master children, the man carries a seed. You can't plant an apple seed and come up with an orange. The egg is not the seed. The egg is not alive. It's living material, but it's not alive. You are what your father is, period. You may look like your mother because you're not material. But your essence is your father. That's your nature. Wolves in sheep clothing. I tell you, warn you about it. Chaff sows amongst the wheat. Then we're going to talk about magnetic destruction. So here you got a demon and a devil. See? And we're going to say, now we're alive, right? We're starting to get some energy, starting to move. See? Well, 1948, we started getting positive energy. Had the ability to create power. Because you need external energy to create power. Internal energy can't do that with that. The external energy, and then you discipline, turn to power. So here we are. We start spin a little bit, right? Okay. I'm showing you all the different things they're doing, all the electronic weapons, with that idea, concept of electricity to neutralize you. See, they're using electric wisdom, right, to neutralize you. Now, if you notice here, the devil and demons, they're moving in opposite directions, and they're females. The two, they're males, black males, okay? I want to, because I'm setting this up. Okay? So you got two, you got a devil and a demon female, right? And you got two original black males starting to energize, starting to wake up a little bit, right? So how do they deal with that? See? They give you one of them. If you accept it, you're dead again. See? You're dead again. Because you attract, because the male attracts the female, you attract. So we can say that one of the red is a male and one's a female. We can do that. Anyway, you attract. Same I told before about opposites attract. So male and female, they're going to attract. So now you got a black male and a black male and a white female demon or white female. And so they're going to, but their natures are opposed. So they stop you from being who you are. They stop from spinning. They take away the power that you was generating from you. So now you're dead again. Because you have to be like them to be around them. They're not going to accept you talking like this. So that's how they neutralize you again. And many of you going for it. Oh man, I got to have me a white girl. They neutralize you again. Because you, as we go on, you're going to see that it's possible for you to be successful in this situation. And you see as we go further into this. Now we're going to really get to the meat of this, to where I want to go. Okay. So we got the demon demise. The demon demise, where we're getting ready to take the demons out. That's about to happen any day now. When the thrones were cast down, that's talking Pharaoh and his boys. The ancient days just set with lambs wore hair. Okay. That's when demons are cast down. They're about to be cast down. They're demise. Okay. And said Suleiman, right? He would release the prisoners, free the prisoners. Because they got all Elijah's people, the real ones, the real that really, not these clowns talking about we Elijah and they got messages, black man, all that kind of stuff. They don't know a damn thing talking about. They never knew Elijah. They have no idea what they're talking about. They tell you message black man is only. Come on, I'm not going to waste time with them. But the real ones, see, they had them locked up, locked down. It says Suleiman would open the gates, release the prisoners. That's about to happen too. Here we go. They're taken out. And this process is a two-step process actually, because it starts with Master Muhammad taking out false Israel. In fact, again, I still didn't correct that. The demon is taken out first. It's almost simultaneous, but it's not, right? Demons taken out first, and then Europeans taken out. So bear with me. I supposed to correct it. I forgot. Anyway, they're gone, right? So remember, Lazarus is still dead. They're taking out Lazarus, still dead. He won't be alive until, that's why I should have left the Europeans, until false Israel Because when they had a war in the Middle East, Gog and Magog, American Britain's gonna be kicked out. Kicked out. Once they're kicked out, right, they're gonna leave false Israel or Antichrist, Satan, got many names. You're gonna be under siege, right? Abandoned. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, its destruction is nigh. It's gonna get so bad, they're gonna be eating each other, right? So once they're finally taken down, then that's when the resurrection will take place. Because then there'll be no doubt that you're seed Abraham. No doubt. And that's going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. And that's going to come after you. See, the prisoners are released from prison. Everybody's active, alive. Levites and the Shabbats, 5 Shabbats. Everybody's alive. Okay, and in control. Okay? That's the resurrection. Let me say something about this resurrection. That's we go home. But Levites not going home because a lot of our people, they risen up from the graves, but they're not ready to be delivered. As Master Muhammad said, you cannot return unless you have full knowledge of self. They don't have that. Because the Levites, Elijah Muhammad's people, who Suleiman said, Jesus said he didn't want them because he put old wine in new vessels, spoil both. Because they're so locked into the old way, they can't handle the new way. So they were supposed to, and says Malachi, I will raise my messenger to prepare the way before me. He couldn't have been taught Master Muhammad, because Elijah Muhammad is not preparing the way for Master Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad is not preparing the way for Master Muhammad. It doesn't make any sense. He's preparing the way for the messenger of the covenant. It tells you that. But you don't want to read it that way, so fine. The Levites not going to read it that way. So they were supposed to prepare the way, but they didn't. Instead of building a bridge between Elijah, the messenger, and the messenger of the covenant, they built mansions for Farrakhan. He had their head of his ass. Listen to that stuff. He deactivated most of them, turned back around. Because Elijah Muhammad, his method was to push people. And once he stopped pushing, they stopped moving. I don't work that way. I'm not pushing anybody. If you don't get it, that's your problem. Because we move fast. We're time travelers. We're converting time is to convert energy one form to another. We're taking the energy from this reality and we're converting it to the new reality. And if either you're part of that process or you're part of the material used to complete that process. Fuel for the fire, that's on you. I'm just giving you information. I'm not going to carry you. I'm not going to try to convince you. I'm not going to push you. I'm not arguing with you. Only one I give a little deference to is the sisters. See, because they was warriors the whole time. We neglected them. We're supposed to support them, secure them, right? Protect them, and we didn't do that. So I have deference for them. I'm their champion. See? So I'm not going to let anything happen to them, but it's still their responsibility to step up. I can't make them do it. I'm not going to try. See? But anyone that steps up, right? See? You raise your hand out, I grab and pull them. You reach your hand out, I'm not, you buzz, I ain't doing that. You pick yourself up. Get the truth, you pick yourself up. But sister, reach out a hand, yes, sister, I'll pull you. I'll pull you up. I'll lift you up. You deserve it. I don't care how ignorant and bad they are right now. They're that way because we didn't protect them, and they was made Negro butts just like we are, right? And they had to fight through all that, and they caught the worst of it. So we was bad, but they was under us. See? Because when we got mad, we took it out on them. Everybody took it out on them. So get the F out of my face with your BS. I mean, that bitch, the dog, the hoe. You better not come step forward with that type of language, or you won't have a tongue. You better get that language out of your mouth. That's that demon language, Farrakhan language. Yeah. I'll be the first one to tell you I've had nothing but trouble with these sisters. I'll be the first one to tell you I married to a demon once, right? But I understand it. They deserve to be mad. They didn't have to go through this with us. If they didn't go through this with us, we wouldn't even be surviving. If it was up to the master, it would be nothing but demons here now. They had to sneak and put their life in jeopardy just to be with you. They didn't put you together. They separated you at night, male and female. The female is an incentive to get you to work harder while he was raping them himself. So they caught worst of it. So if they need a helping hand, you got it. I'm your champion. You got both hands. But you brothers, you got to stand up on your own. You got the knowledge, it's up to you. I'm going to reach out to those sisters, I'm their champion. But like I told you, sisters, once we get you home and you back in your position where you're supposed to be, right? We respect you, love you, even worship your beauty. Your beauty is worthy to be worshiped because you're the God, you're goddess. Stop all this bullshit. But once you get there, sisters, it's on you, right? Your responsibility, right? To maintain it. Okay? We're not going to maintain it for you. We're going to put you back where you're supposed to be, give you a full reward, acknowledge what you went through. And then it's all yours from then on. Okay. Now what I want to show here is, let me see here. Myself out the way here. Okay, that's good. It's good here. Okay, what I want to show here is this was, see, I haven't talked about this before, but it gets a little more complicated. Molecular structure. All metals cannot be magnetized. Why? Because their molecular structure. Iron and steel, those type, they have a very strong molecular structure. These arrows I'm showing, that's like I'm not going to explain it to you, but there's something that holds them together. See, it really has to do with electrons, but I don't want to go there because I don't want to go into chemistry here, right? But so some things have greater structure than others. See, so it has a very strong structure. See? More than tin, more than aluminum. You can't magnetize aluminum because it has a very weak. That's why you can bend it and stuff easily. It has you can't magnetize it. So I'm showing you here an example of when I have strong structure. Those arrows showing was something holding them together. Okay. So here, now I don't want to confuse you because it's not a current because of lack of, it is because of lack of electron. But I'm not showing the lack of electron stuff. I'm just showing you, right? If you have a current, so don't go in and start, man, well, he got the same amount of electron. No, I'm just explaining how this relates to to a molecular structure. When you magnetize it, because you magnetize, you have a current. So I'm just showing you have a current now. See, you have a current because you have less electrons. You have a current, right? But that current, the structure holds. Because remember that current is electrons are pulling, trying to pull. Remember there's attraction force between the electrons and the protons. See? So electrons are pulling on the protons and protons pull on electrons. But as electrons current is pulling electrons, but it doesn't pull, it doesn't change the structure. The protons are able to maintain that structure. You see that better in the next presentation if I got this thing in the right order here. And here's one, doesn't have anything, right? It's like a liquid or a very weak metal. Doesn't have nothing to maintain that structure. Like water, right? Water just can't maintain its structure. Liquids, gases can't maintain its structure. So you can't magnetize them, right? So this is what happens. Instead of becoming a magnet, it just pulls the electrons, pull the protons away. See? So you can't obtain any magnetism. You don't see it spinning anymore. You can't maintain that current, and that current which is the result, which results in magnetism. But that's what magnetism is, electrical current. It's just different structure, just different form, right? But still, magnetism is just electrical current. That's all it is. So it pulls it away. So let's look at, we're going to talk about it in a second. But let's go back and look at this from another perspective. See, here we are. Oops. See, here we are. We have control our environment, control our civilization, control. Because we have a strong internal structure. So we can hold everything together. See? Hold everything together. See? That's us. Because that's where we were. We were spinning 50,000 years ago. We still had strong enough structure. Remember, discipline. Hold our structure together. See? Strong bonds between us. Strong bonds between us individually. You know what I'm saying? They're connected to each other. There's strong bonds between us. Those bonds had to be destroyed in order to gain control of us. Okay. Okay, see here? Those bonds was broken, placed by demons. See, we connected each other. We had a strong bond. They broke it by interjecting those demons, like a checkerboard. Right? Every red checker, you got a black one. Every black one, you got a red one. Keep separated. They keep us separated because they look like us, they hanging with us, but they keep us separated, terrorizing us, lying to us, tells you how to be like them. And see, that's how they broke the bonds. And you think they're like you, so you allow them to stay there. But they ain't us. They broke the bonds between us by turning some of us into them, right? By the demons, they broke the bonds between us. So we don't have control anymore. See? We don't have those strong bonds. They broke them. See? So now you don't have civilization, you don't have anything. They tend to be individuals. See here? So now, remember, like before, they pull us away from each other because the electron is strong enough to pull us away since there's nothing to hold us back together. So now, we're individuals. We're not a nation. See, we're broke. We're not a nation. And that's why we want to keep it that way. You don't want you to think a nation. Oh, I'm America's citizen. I'm an individual. I do my own thing. See? That's what demons are telling you. Because that's what Master tells them to tell you. But you leave it because it look like you. So now you have no control. You don't have no nation. They broke the bonds. Not a magnet anymore. You're just a gas, a fluid. What's another way they do it? That fails. The women, the female, they're part of us. The family structure. They tell you that's the most fundamental structure. So you got the males and the females. See, the males going clockwise, the females going counterclockwise. They maintain that bond between us. You see? So we have a strong bond. Female, right? Attraction, male attraction, we're working together, right? A strong bond. But then they tell the female, you don't need no male. Women's live. Feminism. When did all that stuff start? Think about it. This stuff didn't start until you start getting out under their control. So they start all this other stuff designed to keep you under control. So now, remember, your bonds were black, strong, and now they're red. See? They're red now. See? Getting critical. Because the female, she don't run off her own. I don't need you. I do my own thing. I get job help. We put the kids in daycare. You see? So now your bonds are getting weak. That's what they're telling them. See? We ain't getting mad at these sisters because you ain't telling them anything. Or you want to just beat up on them and take their money and everything else. So why should they listen to you? See? So they tell them they're Negro butts just like you, but you ain't telling them anything positive. You tell them the same thing master telling them. So what happens? Then structures just women just take off. You know, sometimes we watch this called Wheel of Fortune, I think. You know, sometimes in the evenings we just about to go to bed, watch somebody half an hour or something, and we can't help but notice that every black woman that come on there, 99% don't have a man. 4 or 5 children, no man. But all the white women, they got their love for 15 years, 20 years, but none of the black women have any man. Check it out. Because that's what they teach them. You don't need no man. Abort the child. See? So now the structure is broken again. They use the females to do it, and they use the males to do it. They use the females and the demons. We ain't blaming the females, but sisters, we're not blaming you. See? Because there's a relationship between the females and the demons. Because how the demons get in there to begin with. Because they had to come through the females, the black female. And she's going to love them because her maternal instinct kicks in. And she's going to love them even though she knows she was raped by this devil. Now, you're not going to love them because, you know, you're black woman, your black queen, your black goddess, that you ain't looking at her like that right now because you got other names for her. B, H, and all that kind of stuff. But you ain't going to love that child. You know, it ain't yours. You know, it's the devil. You ain't going to love him. But she's going to make you love him if you want to stick around her because that's her nature. That's not bad. That's maternal nature. It came out of her. It's part of her. It ain't part of you, but it's part of her. So she's going to love that part of her that's in it. And so that's how the demons are able to infiltrate the neighborhood and stick in there because the black females, right, are part of the problem, right? Because it's not their fault. Well, I shouldn't say part of the problem, but they part of the process that caused that to happen. Excuse me, sisters, I didn't mean part of the problem because you are not part of the problem. We the problem. So when we get you back home and secure, right, and honoring you and respecting you for who you are and what you've done and sacrifice you made, right, then you start showing us some respect. You start showing us some love, some appreciation. But why should you do it now? What you going to appreciate us for? What are you going to, Negroes out there, Negro butt males, why should they appreciate you for what? You don't even know your own damn name. You marry them and you give them slave master's name. Now, if that's not dumb, how dumb can it be? Oh, my name is Toby Richardson. You don't even know that's not even your name. That's slave master's name. He gave it to you as a brand, not as a name. Because when he sold you to slave master Brownstone, your name became Toby Brownstone. So he finally gave permission. Remember, you even got to go get permission to him to marry her. Why do you think they came with this thing about you got to get a marriage license? Because they was controlling who, if you could even be with them or not. That's the extension of that. There was always no marriage license. I'm not even sure if they even have that in the other country besides here. To make sure they control you being with them. Remember that movie Django? He had to kill another Negro just to get a beer and see half an hour with Maggie or whatever her name was. You better be real. And then you marry him, if you marry him at all, you the one, you putting this crap on them about abortion. You the one telling them to abort them. You the one pushing pressure on the abort. I can't handle that. Is that my baby? You the one putting pressure on them to do it. Don't be blaming these sisters for this. And I'm not henpecked. I tell you, like I said, I've had more trouble with these sisters than anybody that you can imagine. Right? But I understand it. It's not their fault. And I'm their champion. But you don't want to tell them to abort. You don't want to push the pressure on them to do it. See? So get up off all that. And then, like I said, you marry them. If you do marry them, now her name is Maggie. Now her name is Maggie Richardson. Slave master's name. You ain't got sense enough to find your own damn name and give it to her. You give it slave master. Why should she appreciate you? She should appreciate master. Where'd she get the job from? She get it from you? Elijah Muhammad tried to teach her how to get her own job. You didn't want that. So where'd she get a job from? That you put her out there to work. Like Farrakhan putting the sisters on the street. He's a creep and a pimp. Elijah Muhammad never put the sisters on the street to do anything. So they put him out to work. See? Who they working for? They work for master. Where they get the money from master? Where they get the food from master? Where they get everything from master? So what the hell are they preaching you? I preach you for? Because you jail them every night? Some of them don't even, some of us woke up on your ass. They don't even want that from you anymore. Listen to that sister Ali. Shazada Ali or something? I don't know her sister, but you need to listen to her. She got to know, she know a little something. But why should they appreciate you? Why should they respect you for what? Because you got balls? So does the devil. Maybe that's why they run over to him. So I'm telling you, you better get up off these sisters. Because I'm telling you, if I was in the hard zone, I'd be out there shooting them myself. Because I'm going to help these sisters, boy. You can't imagine, right? But I ain't in the hard zone. I got my mind back. See? So I'm not emotional about them. See? And they make me mad. I'm human. You see me when it wings, halo around my head, I walk on water? No. See? So I'm human, but I understand the situation. We're in hell. And these sisters are beautiful. The God says they should never have went through this. See? They went through us because we went through it. And they had to, but we come out alive. How was going to reproduce ourselves? We dragged them through this with us, and then we're going to talk about them. They call them hoes and dogs and bitches. Are you sick? And then you let these devils beat them down. I mean, I saw a situation. I said, about a couple years ago, they went to this party. She shouldn't have been anyway. Young girl. I guess she's about 18, 17, 16, about 15, 16. And they had little ruckus at the party. It was a white party, right? She was there. And the cops come, who they beat on? They beating her down on the ground. Little 16-year-old girl, they're beating the shit out of her. And everybody talking about selfies and stuff. You know what's not doing? That would never happen if Elijah Muhammad was around. I don't care if she's in the lost found. That would never happen. We wouldn't let that happen. And you're out of self-pity. And then these clowns with he's wannabe FOI with Farrakhan wannabe. I mean, how stupid. This boy's going to break out. Because they're going to come and get Farrakhan. They're going to crucify him. That boy, Ishmael, that boy is totally certified ignorant, dumb. Totally dumb. Totally certified ignorant. You mean to tell me that your man is supposed to be Jesus, the Messiah, all that stuff, and you're going to let devils walk through all of you, FOI, and grab him and crucify him, and you're going to sit there and watch it? You know, if they try to pull that shit with Elijah Muhammad when I was around, we'd have Armageddon, Holocaust, Armageddon, Apocalypse, everything. But they would touch him. You're going to come and crucify him. You know, anybody even talk about they're going to touch Elijah Muhammad when he was around. The sisters would took their ass apart. You're going to come and get him. That's how sick they are. See? Only reason Elijah Muhammad went to jail because he told his people to stand down. He told people to stand down, but he didn't have a mission to take care of. Otherwise, he would never spend one day in prison. Not one day. He held his people stand down. Don't give me this crap. You're going to put your hand on Elijah Muhammad? Are you out here? Drop an F-bomb on your ass. You're going to put you. Ooh. No, it wasn't going to happen. I was around. Okay, bud, we about to wrap this up. I talked about this, right? So we're going to talk about it briefly, then we're going to wrap it up. You see those black folks right there? They're dancing. They're dancing on $1 million shit farm. We got $1 million shit farm. See? They're dancing. They're happy. Because, think about this, man, because something we first hear it throws you. Is $1 million shit farm worth as much as $1 million worth of gold? Of course it is. They're both worth $1 million. But the problem is, someone tells you the only thing you can buy is a shit farm because they control the quality of your energy. That's what we're suffering here in America. They control the quality. Remember redlining? Where you live, where you work, they control the quality of energy. And they're always going to do that long as you're here. So they says, okay, because you know, you're going to have shit, you're going to have gold. We eat food, we turn into shit. Somebody got to take that shit and put it in the ground, fertilize the ground, so we can turn it back to more food. So somebody's getting the food and somebody's getting the shit. Somebody got to handle the shit, somebody going to handle the food. They had you handling the shit, then handle the food. That's what so-called slavery or the Holocaust is all about, because we was producing gold for them and they was feeding us literally shit. What do you think shitless is? It's shit. 100% shit. Because that's the stuff you just throw away when they slaughter the hog. And throw it away. But they said, no, we ain't going to throw it, we're going to give it to them. And even when if they cooked it for you at all, because they fed you in trials like a pig, no fork, no spoon. But to sit there even cooked it, they didn't take the shit out. Yeah, just like that, you eat it all. This Holocaust. So you was eating the shit, you was wearing the raggedy clothes, living in it, not living, but existing in a damn shack, eating shit. You see? And you was producing gold for them. And they take the gold, produce more shit for you. They call it a symbiotic relationship. And they don't want, that's why Pharaoh didn't want to let us go, because he understood the relationship. And if they left, that means they have to handle their own shit. And see, they are contrary people. They turn gold into shit. That's their nature. But they need somebody to turn that shit back into gold. Because even though they turn gold into shit, they don't like the shit. They turn Europe, after 1,000 years in it, into a shithole. That's why they're trying to escape it. It was a shithole. Disease, poverty, mental illness, everything, hierarchy and everything. But they was fleeing because they bought that all over the world. They was what they was actually fleeing. See? They brought tyranny, disease all over the place, all over the planet. See? Because they actually turned. Because look what they done to the world now. Now global warming, all corruption. Like Quran says, corruption is pure in the land and the sea because what their hands have wrought, not ours, their control is theirs. Because they naturally turn gold into shit. But they need somebody to turn that shit back into gold, and that's us. That symbiotic relationship that you don't understand. So they got these black, they're dancing on the shit farm. While Masters, he's sent back with $1 million worth of gold mine. While they dance on the $1 million shit farm. Richardson, Johnson, Jackson, boy. You can't get past the name, the brand, so how you don't get past anything else? And that's the symbiotic relationship right there. That's the way it goes. You're in the ghetto, you're working at McDonald's, you're paying all that rent in the ghetto. You know, it's cheaper to live as a rich person than a poor person. Because they go out in the suburbs and they got a nice 8-family house, bed, 4 or 5 beds and everything else. And their mortgage is probably around about $800 and $900 a month. Probably $800 and $900 a month. About $800 a month. See? And you living in the city in 1 bedroom, maybe, a toilet that's always stopped up all the time, on the 3rd floor, crime and every damn thing else. And you paying $800, now $1,000 a month for that. You $1,000, you paying $1,000 a month for that. You see what I'm saying? You don't get it? You turning shit into gold and they turn to gold shit. As long as you stay here, that's going to be, but you're looking at the demons, they're doing the same thing. They turning gold into shit too for you. But you think, I'm going to be like them one day. I'm going to be like Oprah. I'm going to be like Denzel. Then you're going to be like them. Because they live in mass house. They're mass children. They wouldn't be there unless they was down with Master, think like Master, right? Waving the flag and everything else. Because you don't see anybody step out of line like what Copernic and what they squashed his ass. You better get with it, brothers and sisters. As long as you stay here, Farrakhan, we're going to stay here. Why? Because he's one of them. You're going to keep getting this shit, then keep getting the gold. That's what you want. Laughing like those Negro butts don't know any better. Have at it. But we're leaving. And you ain't going to stop us. We're leaving. We got 9 more plagues for your age. It says, what was it? 9 more plagues for your ass. What it says. Read it next. Because those plagues were designed what? To do what? To force you to leave us alone. Let's get the hell out of here. And they're about to hit. And that's where that war that breaks out in Europe, that's sparked by the war that's about to break out in the Middle East. That's when you hit those plagues. And it's an erection here. Destruction over in Europe, because your enemies, your friends, NATO and all that's going to turn against you. You're going to be fighting alone, except with Britain. And they're going to tear both your asses up. And meanwhile, China and India gain strength because you're tearing yourself apart. And now they're coming in, closing in on the West Coast. That's the goat. And Daniel come after goat, Gog and Magog. No, they come after the ram, 2 horns, the goat, coming across the sea, right? Coming across from the west, coming from the west eastward, feet not touching land, it's coming over the Pacific Ocean. It hits that ram with such force, it knocks it down, it crushes them. And brothers and sisters, you better get with it, because we that little stone, that golden stone that's coming out of that mountain without hands that you think it means that, it doesn't mean that at all. It didn't say we're going to beat the nations. We're going to subdue the nations. We're going to crush them, every one of them, including those, the gold, which is us, those us that can't get with the program, can't keep up. The God is moving. Master Muhammad is moving. He's moving faster every day. I'm trying to get you to keep up, because I'm not going to slow down and let you drag me behind. I'm trying to keep up with him so you know how to keep, so you know I'm like a sign for you to show you what you need to do to keep up. So I'm not gonna slow down, get myself destroyed, and you too. If I slow down, there's no hope for you. As you gotta be in my book of life. You got a book of life, Farrakhan? You got a book of life, Silas, Seventh Angel, and all you liars out there? We'll see. He's moving fast. I'm keeping with him. I'm not gonna slow down, let you drag me behind, right? If you can't keep up, it's on you, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. I think that's it. I think that's it. Okay, that's it, brothers and sisters. Like I said, I want you to go into more deep molecular structure. Oh, I didn't show that. Okay, I missed that, brothers and sisters. So you, well, that's on the Facebook side anyway. They shut me down a long time ago, right? Well, I post on Facebook, but I have to post not live. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. Okay, we'll leave it there. So for my audio audience, thank you for listening. This is the Life Alert segment on Fire Zone. Fire Zone out. My video audience, thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum. You this Thursday? Oh, here we go.